Okay, right. Okay, I'm a bit delayed in what time I wanted to do the show, but technically I've done it before the first game of the season, which is about to kick off in 5 minutes. Come on, New Burnley. But without further ado, this is episode one of the Chinksey Sports Presents, the Premier League show, where I'm gonna be it's gonna be kind of a Premier League show, hopefully weekly, where I kind of talk about the fixtures, give my predictions, give a little insight on each side and how I think the game's gonna go, and things like that, and just talk football really, general football, generic Premier League football. Talk about the transfers and things like that. I'll try to do it every week. This is episode one. About to kick off in 5 minutes is the Burnley v Man City game. So I'll start off with that. In terms of Burnley, it looks like they're best placed to stay up out of the three sides that were promoted, which were Luton Town, Sheffield United, as well as Burnley. I feel like Burnley have, in Vincent Company, have a very good manager with a wealth of experience in Premier League terms, having been a successful captain at Man City for a number of years. They've made some astute signings. They were excellent in the Championship last season. They ran away with the league. However, they did run into Man City in the FA Cup and got mauled, to be fair. But I feel like Burnley at Turf Moor are gonna be. I feel like they're gonna make it a fortress this season. That's probably gonna be where they pick up most of their points. I've got them to stay up. I believe they'll stay up. I believe that Vincent Company is going to use his Man City contacts and his contacts and friends around the game to be able to bring in good loan players and good signings, and he's done that already. He's already looking likely to get Albert Mboyo Sambi Lokonga through the door, whether it's an initial loan or whether it's a permanent transfer. I believe that he will get him in by the end of the transfer window. And he's just made some astute signings. In terms of Man City, they didn't have the best of pre-seasons. Jack Grealish has gone off the boil in recent games, hasn't been at his best, which is why Phil Foden has taken his place in the side. Also, it's interesting that Guardiola's continued to play Julian Alvarez. So obviously it looks like he's the guy that's kind of come in place of Mahrez, with Bernardo Silva pulling out to the right wing. They've got Kevin De Bruyne coming into the side, with obviously Rodri and Haaland in there too. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Cole Palmer didn't start this game, considering he played really well in his cameo appearance against Arsenal in the Community Shield. However, it's likely he'll probably come on later in the game. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm sure a lot of people think Man City are going to just run riot in this game. Would surprise me, but I think it will be like something like 2 or 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0 to Man City. I think Haaland will score a couple goals, and I'll go for Foden, who's been on fire on recent games, to get a goal. So I'm going to go 3-0 Man City, with Haaland getting a brace to end his 6 games scoreless run. The next game is the mighty Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, which is tomorrow, Saturday at 12:30. So the second game of the Premier League season. I fully expect Arsenal to win the game. Had a pretty decent pre-season, looking ready to start competitive fixtures. We're very good against Man City at the weekend. In stark contrast, Nottingham Forest haven't had the best of pre-seasons. However, they have made a few interesting signings with the likes of Matt Turner, Ola Aina, and Anthony Elanga from Man United for 15 million. Interesting signings. All have got Premier League experience, which is vital. However, I think Arsenal will have too much for Nottingham Forest, and I am going for a 4-0 victory for Arsenal, clean sheet to start the season. Bournemouth changed Gary O'Neill despite the fact that he kept them up last season against all odds. I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, thought Bournemouth would go down last season. However, they did well to stay up. Had a great run towards the end of the season. Whereas West Ham, Europa Conference League winners last season, managed to stay up. However, they've lost a few players, and Lucas Paqueta's obviously unsettled following the Man City interest. So it's unlikely he will play. They've already lost their best player and talisman, Declan Rice, to Arsenal. So this one's a tough one to call. If it's hard because you don't know what West Ham, what players Moyes will have available to choose from. They have lost quite a few players. Scamacca's already gone as well. Antonio's a bit unsettled. And Bournemouth look like, they brought their new manager in and they look like they want to kind of change the style of play. I'm going to go for Bournemouth 2-1 win because I just feel like West Ham are a bit uncertain at the moment and they're just going through some changes and I'll go for a 2-1 Bournemouth win. Brighton v Luton's an interesting one because I feel like Luton will just be, they'll be chomping at the bit to start the season. It's been a long-winded slog for Luton to make their way back to the top flight after about 30 years, I think, away from the top flight. I remember they were in the Conference League at one stage and they've managed to get all the way back to the Premier League, so props to them. However, I think Luton will go down. I just think they're lacking quality, although I think that they're gonna take some scalps along the way. I feel like they're gonna get some big wins, especially at home at Kenilworth Road, small stadium, tight stadium. Is gonna be a throwback. They're just gonna be battling. They're gonna fight till the end, but I just think they're gonna lack quality. Whereas Brighton, for me, are brimming with quality. People like Matoma still there. However, it looks like Caicedo is going to leave. I heard that Liverpool have had a bid accepted for him. But whether he goes there, I'm not really too sure. But I got to go for Brighton to win. I just think that they just got too much quality. They'll have too much quality for Luton. And I'm going to go for 3-0 Brighton win. Everton v Fulham is another interesting one. I think that'll be a good game, actually. Something tells me that Everton are going to struggle again this season. I don't think they've done much business. And neither Fulham, to be honest. Whether Fulham suffer from second season syndrome is another interesting question as well. So I'm intrigued to see how Fulham fare this season. I don't think they'll be as good as 10th last season. But I don't think they'll go down either. And I'm sure every season Fulham stay up, they'll see it as a bonus. But personally, I reckon they'll be looking at a top 13 finish. I'm sure they'll be happy with 13th or above. That's probably where they'll finish, to be fair. Probably about 14th. Whereas Everton, I'm sure something similar too. So I've got to go for a 0-0. I'm going to go for a 0-0 with, just a dull 0-0 draw. Both teams probably be happy with the point. Yeah, both teams will probably take a point at this stage. Next up, Sheffield United v Crystal Palace. I reckon that'll probably be last match of the day. Can't lie, bro. No one ain't watching that game. Sheffield United have made a few signings, nothing spectacular. Whereas Crystal Palace, the first game post Wilfried Zaha, following his move to Galatasaray in the summer on a free transfer. However, they've got Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise in the team, and they've made a signing. Um, they made a signing. I did see his name yesterday for about 25 million. I think they went from a Brazilian club. But no, I can't look beyond. This would be tough. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Sheffield United nicked this. I can't lie. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a Sheffield United 1-0 win. I don't think it'll be pretty, but I think they'll grind it out. And I think because Crystal Palace lack a striker, um, they'll probably bombard Sheffield United. I just feel like they'll hold out for a narrow win. I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield United. Newcastle v Aston Villa is an intriguing one because a lot of people are tipping Aston Villa for a good season following their transfers and the money they spent. They bought Pau Torres, Moussa Diaby in, and they're looking good. Yuri Tillemans in midfield. Squad's looking strong. Should probably win the Europa Conference League as they're the best team in it, just as West Ham were last season. So how they fare against Newcastle should be interesting, especially these two met in pre-season and it ended in a score draw. Wouldn't surprise me if this one ended in 2. However, I think Newcastle are better than Aston Villa, although I don't really rate Newcastle like that. Like their players, their squad's okay, but it's nothing amazing. They brought in Tonali, they brought in Liv Morento and Harvey Barnes in the summer. Spent quite a bit of money on them three, may I add. Yeah, man. I'm going to go for a Newcastle 2-1 victory. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. Potentially a game that's first or second in the match of the day. Wouldn't surprise me if it's 3-3 or something, you know what I mean? I think, yeah, I fancy Newcastle to edge this one. 2-1. Brentford Spurs. Interesting one. Brentford obviously are going to be without Ivan Toney until January, whereas Spurs will be without Harry Kane, almost certain. So it looks like he's going to complete his move to Bayern Munich. So I think that Harry Kane move will galvanise Spurs. I think it will bring the best out of people like Son and Richarlison, as more responsibility will be on their shoulders. I fancy Richarlison to have a decent season. It's interesting though because Brentford without Tony will probably have to adapt their style. Johan Wissa will probably come in with Mbeumo probably playing alongside him, if not on the right. But I think Brentford will win this. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Brentford. Chelsea v Liverpool should be an interesting game. Chelsea have had a fantastic pre-season, whereas Liverpool have completely revamped the midfield with 4 or 5 midfielders all leaving the club. So it's obviously kind of a squad replenishment. They've had a £105 million bid or 110. Over £100 million bid for Caicedo accepted. Whether he goes to them is a different question, although he won't play in this game. Chelsea have had a great preseason and made some great acquisitions. Got a young squad. They've got rid of a number of players too. So it looks like a kind of new dawn with a new manager, new captain. You could probably say it's a new Chelsea, really, a new era. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool win. I think Chelsea will have a good season this season. But I just think they're coming up against a Liverpool side who will be at it this season, and I tipped them for a top 3 finish. So I think it will be 2-0 to Liverpool. Lastly, Man United v Wolves. I can't look beyond Man United for this one. I think they'll win 2-0. However, because Wolves have lost their best player and captain in Ruben Neves. They've also lost their manager, who left out of frustration due to the lack of transfer funds. Gary O'Neill is, however, coming. Whereas Man United have had an indifferent pre-season, although they did beat Arsenal. And they'll be looking to build on last season's first place finish and Carabao Cup win, but I think they'll get off to a good start, and they're going to need to because they've got 2 trips to North London in opening 4 games. I expect Marcus Rashford to build on last season's 30 goals, and I'm tipping him to get a brace for this. So my prediction for Man United against Wolves will be 2-0. I want to also give my top 4 prediction, which is Arsenal to win the league, Manchester City to finish 2nd, Liverpool to finish 3rd, Manchester United to finish 4th. In fact, I'll give a top 5 prediction, and then I've got Chelsea to finish 5th. My tip for relegation is Luton Town to be 20th, Sheffield United to be 19th. 18th place is tough because I think it will be between Burnley, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, and Everton. I think it will either be Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. Tough one, you know. I'm going to go Bournemouth. So my 3 to go down is Luton, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth. I'll do European qualification. So I think if I've done my top 5, I think Newcastle will be in Europa League in 6th. Wow, Tottenham. I've got to go Tottenham to be 7th. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably think Aston Villa will be in, but I think Spurs will finish above Villa. My player of the season, I have to back Saka. I can't lie, I got to back Saka for this one. I think Saka's going to be the player of the season. Young player of the season, probably Saka again, to be fair. Manager of the season, I'm going Mikel Arteta because he's going to lift Arsenal's first league title in 20 years. We're going to do it this season, man. And what other category I'm going to do? Surprise package of the season, I think will be... It's a tough one, though. Do you know what? I'm going to go Burnley. I think Burnley will be the surprise package this season because they will finish, I'm going to say 12th. I don't know why, but I just do think they'll finish 12th. First managerial sacking of the top 6. Okay, I'll do it this way. Guardiola's going nowhere. Arteta's going nowhere. Ten Hag's going nowhere. So that leaves Klopp, Postecoglou, and who's the other one? And Pochettino. Pochettino ain't going nowhere. I have to go Postecoglou, you know, the Tottenham manager. So I'm tipping him to be sacked, the first top 6 manager to be sacked this season. Quick one. So that was a quick one for episode 1. So I'm going to let the fixtures marinate, and then episode 2 will be next week. Make sure you tune in. Peace.